Gophers, team that not only your players are familiar with, you're pretty familiar with. This is a pretty tough series. How do you prepare for it, and how do you? I suppose you don't have to do much to get them ready.
No, we're fired up. We're fired up, and playing the number one team in the country, that's what we're here for. We want to play the best to see what we're made of. I think that's way more fun than playing the bottom level tier team. So we're excited. We're looking forward to it, and we'll see what we got.
What do you feel you learned about your team against Minnesota State, and what kind of steps do you feel they're able to take?
I think we can put the puck in the net, that's for sure. We scored 8 goals over the weekend, just like we did against Lindenwood. So goal scoring is there. I think goaltending is there. I think the D core is coming along. I think everybody's getting good experience, good minutes, and we can use everybody, and it takes everybody. I think once we started extending the bench, that's when we started playing better. So I think we have a lot of good players, a lot of good depth, and solid in all 3 zones.
Was Kayla healthy enough to go this weekend? Or,
yep.
But you decided to go. Why did you decide to go with Maddie over Kayla?
I think Maddie got the win on Friday, and so she earned it again on Saturday. It's a day-to-day decision. I think we're really fortunate. I've mentioned Kayla and Maddie as being both number 1 tier goalies, so we're in a really good spot. And I think with Carissa, we have one of the best goaltending trios in the country. So we're very fortunate, and it's a day-to-day decision as to who's competing at practice, who looks good, who's healthy, and who's ready to go.
Katrina, she hasn't played yet this season. What's her injury status, and when do you hope to maybe get her back?
Yeah, we're missing Kaka. She just celebrated her birthday yesterday. She injured her knee over the summer, and hopefully we'll have her back next semester.
How do you approach this weekend, this team? Do you kind of stay within your system? How do you plan to game plan against the Gophers?
Sure, we scout every team that we play and make minor adjustments to their systems, but otherwise we're going to stick to our systems and do what we're doing well and continue to progress in that. I think that's the best game plan for us versus sitting back and giving the Gophers space. That's not what you want to do. You got to go at them and take away time and space and be aggressive. And I think that's when we play the best. I was just telling Chico over here, our best games this year were against BC, especially the second one. And the Gophers play a lot like BC. They're fast, they move the puck well, they spread the ice out. And I think that's when you see the best Bulldogs team. So we'll stick to our plan.
I know you don't like focusing on one player in particular, but the Gophers do have the NHA's leading scorer in Sarah Potomac. Do you have any plan of attack to try and contain her over the weekend?
So you could have said 2 other names in that sentence. You could have said Hannah Brandt, Danny Cameronese, or Sarah Potomac. They all play on the same line, and they're all phenomenal players. So yeah, you have to for sure know when they are on the ice. But even beyond that line, you could say the next 3 names, and everybody in women's hockey would know who they are. So their depth is tremendous, and you just have to be aware of when those special players are out there. But again, it's a game of hockey, and if you start focusing just on 1 or 2 players out there, you forget what you're trying to do. So it's awareness, but it's not a shadowing sort of system that we're going to do.
Staller and Brickleck's line, how do you feel that trio stands up against Gophers' top line there?
I'd put them up against anyone in the country, and that's what we've done, and that's what we'll be doing. So I feel really good about them. And the nice part about that is the second and third lines, as you saw, we're scoring goals this weekend too. So if that brick line is going to get matched up against the top ones, as long as the other ones are producing, we'll be fine.
Playing with the lead this weekend certainly helped. What's the key, I guess, to not playing from behind, because getting into a track meet with this team is not easy.
Yeah, I think that's a double-edged sword too, because if you focus too much on getting the lead, if you don't get it, then what happens? So I think you have to take each period by period. We talk about let's focus on the first 20 minutes, let's focus on this shift and the next shift and build off of it. Obviously, we would love to have the lead. Everybody plays a little more confidently when you have the lead, but we need to be able to start that way regardless of what the score says.
We saw the schedule last week or last year as well with Minnesota, North Dakota, Wisconsin all backed up against each other. Have you talked about the next 3 series, just what this next month is going to mean for this team moving forward?
Not to the players. We take it day by day. We're focusing on Minnesota right now. The nice thing is we have a 2-week break in between Minnesota and Wisconsin, which I think will be great for, we'll have 10 games under our belts. It's nice to get a little rest and get back to some of the systems and things like that during that time off, and then gear up for Wisconsin. But we take it one day at a time, one series at a time.
Stalder, she's a player that I noticed from the first day I talked to you here. You've been raving about her, and we're excited to have her on your team. How do you feel she stacks up to the Hannah Brants and everything out there? I think maybe everyone puts a lot of emphasis on the Canadian and the American Olympian, and maybe sometimes overlooks the Swiss Olympian in Stalder.
Sure, I think she's tremendous. I think you saw some of her skill out there this past weekend. She has the hands, she has the scoring ability, she has a great shot ahead for the game, and I put her up against all those guys. She won a bronze medal, and the Americans won a silver, so that's pretty close when you're talking about national teams. So I think she's right there with those guys. Good. All right.